Hello there. I'm Scotty, and you're not. And I've done it. I made it to the end. Lawnmower Man 2, Jobe's War, or Beyond Cyberspace, whatever you want to call it. And I gotta point this out, the case. This is not even... Look, that is the sex scene from the first one. And it's put back on the back of the card thing. And then you take a look at the front here. They reused the first cover. That's Jeff Fahey, Jobe. And that's the church where he lives by. So I don't... And this movie is... it's not the worst one I've reviewed. We'll get to that. I'm going to do a ranking. I'm going to rank all 20 that I did. But it's the most bullshittiest. We start out with a retcon in 4.3 aspect ratio, by the way, showing the end of the last film, the explosion of the virtual labs from the first film, except for Dr. Angelo is nowhere to be found. It's just exploding, and we see Jobe go into cyberspace. The end of it, him going through into the thing, even though they don't even go into that. At the end of the first film, we saw that he made it because his one thing was to, ring all the phones in the world if he made it. And all the phones in the world rang, so obviously he made it into cyberspace. It was an ending that was fit. It was a fitting ending. But because we need to make a sequel, we got to retcon that. So instead, these people working for another virtual reality company owned by our villain in this, Mr. Walker, find Jobe's body. Strange, because he didn't have a body left. When he went into the cyberspace, it sucked him into a little husk, and his head fell off. So how the hell does he still have a body? But he's still alive, and they give him plastic surgery to fix his face. Or to explain why he's not played by Jeff Fahey anymore. He's played by Matt Frewer, and it's not better. I miss Jeff Fahey's performance. I liked his performance in that movie. But no, we have Matt Frewer, who's not a bad actor, but he can come off as goofy, and he does come off as goofy. But he got plastic surgery to look like Matt Frewer, and his legs were cut off so he can't get away. And then he says he's going to help. He wants him to rebuild a Chiron chip that was built by a Dr. Trace. The replacement for Dr. Angelo, and we'll get to that. But Dr. Trace, who lost his patent to this guy, so he wants Jobe to recreate it. So they can control cyberspace or whatever. We cut to what the movie says is just the future, and we got like flying cars and stuff, so it looks futuristic. However, according to Wikipedia, it's only 6 years, so 1998, futuristic 1998, and we reconnect with Peter, whose mother died, and he's now somehow living as an orphan on the streets. I know Dr. Angelo said he was going underground, but I doubt he would leave Peter alone after finding out about his mom's death. I don't know. It also implied that she and Dr. Angelo were going to get together, so that's all thrown out the window. And why is that? Well, most likely because Pierce Brosnan said no to coming back. But if you recast Jobe, why not recast him? And I think that's why they have Dr. Trace in the film, because Dr. Trace feels like he's a substitute for Dr. Angelo. It's very obvious he was supposed to be Dr. Angelo because the character is living like off the grid and everything when Peter finds him. And they just sort of rewrote some stuff to make him a different character and some exposition to establish why he would be sought after, why Jobe needs him, and why Peter would go there to get him. It seems like, to me, in the original script, Jobe contacted him, or he found Jobe in cyberspace. He would go to Dr. Angelo, or find a way to get to Dr. Angelo to tell him, and they would, but no, they gotta have this, new chip and everything. And yeah, so Peter and his new friends are in the virtual reality, which I don't understand why Peter would dabble with virtual reality after seeing what it did to his friend Jobe, but I digress. They tell the dog, yes, the dog, to put in the bike chip so they get special motorbike things, followed by villains on motorbikes because I guess it comes with the chip. And we know it does because they use the bike chip later before the climax of the film, during the climax of the film. And the villains come with it too. I don't know. But while there, he runs into Jobe, who has, first his memory was erased. He has amnesia or whatever, only knowing that his name is Jobe. But then, when going in cyberspace to get his memory back, I guess, I don't know, wonder what the hell the amnesia was for, if they're going to give it back to him. And he gets legs inside virtual reality, because we want to copy Johnny Quest, The Real Adventures. They did the exact same thing on that show. They did it first, because that show came out in 1995, I believe, and this was 1996. So, and on that show, Dr. Jeremiah Surd was paralyzed and in a wheelchair, and he was taking a Quest World where he had legs, and then he decided he wanted to take over Quest World, and yeah, it's kind of like that. The CGI in this is, I wouldn't say better, but maybe a little bit. But the thing is, it's supposed to be VR, so it's not supposed to look realistic, but still, watching it back today, I guess some of the stuff in the first film did look a little worse. I.e. the sex scene, but I digress. So, Peter is able to convince Dr. Trace to help them, but they find out that the reason Jobe wants the chip is to take over the cyberspace. He's world domination again, and they have him hack into computer stuff instead of using his powers because budget? I don't know, he doesn't use his powers. They never explain why he doesn't, he just doesn't. He hacks in. There's a scene where he hacks in to a plane and makes it crash, and you show footage from Die Hard 2, the exact same footage. Okay, I don't understand this at all, but okay. There's also a flashback scene that shows Jobe with Peter. It's only from like a POV of Jobe, and you hear Matt Frewer's voice, and the actor is actually the younger brother of Austin O'Brien, who's the only actor to come back. And he's older, he's a teenager. Technology's advanced way too far for him to still be a teenager, but if according to Wikipedia, it's only been 6 years, so. But Trace contacts the female doctor that works for Walker because they used to be an item. And he convinces her that what Jobe is doing is wrong, and she stupidly calls Walker to tell him that Jobe is doing this. Of course, he's in on it. The audience already knows, but that just makes their characters look stupid. Eventually, though, this all leads them to go into cyberspace to stop Jobe because he wants to take over the world. Of course! So, yeah, he brings everybody into cyberspace, I guess, and so we get the bike chase. And then they cause an overload, which turns Jobe back to his simple-minded persona, the way he used to be. But Jobe previously sent security after intruders, which are Walker and his subordinates. And Walker gets shot all the hell up. Yet he somehow is able to come back and hold Peter hostage just so we can have Trace stand up to him, punch him, and knock him into a live wire, killing him. And then we all end with a happy ending and try to ignore the fact that Jobe killed someone with an airplane and possibly killed a bunch of people in cyberspace because of the explosion. Probably killed them too. I don't know. This movie's all over the place. It's not worth your time. Just watch the first one. This one it's entertaining, but it's, if you're trying to follow up the first one, you're going to be confused at all the retcons they do. Either because certain actors won't come back, even though you could have just recast. Like, Patrick Bergen could have been Dr. Angelo, and I would have been fine with it. It wouldn't have made this movie any better, even Pierce Brosnan coming back wouldn't have made it any better. But it just, I don't know. I don't know. I enjoyed the first one much more better. That's better than this one, and it's a meh ending to a sequel-a-thon that has been full of ups and downs. So much so that Simon Miller would have a headache. But yeah. So yeah, like I said, Lawnmower Man 2, not worth your time. So there it is. We have finished. What do I have planned in the future? Well, I'm gonna do another video. You already know some of the things, but I've come up with a new series for the channel. It's going to be easier for me to do because it's not really reviews, it's rankings. But and also this weekend I'm gonna try to catch up on 2021 movies. I have 10 that I need to do. I don't know how good some of them are gonna be either. I don't know, but I'm doing them in order they were released, so look for that. But also the ranking coming tomorrow from when you're watching this. So yeah. So what are your thoughts on Lawnmower Man 2? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.